Hello and welcome to another rant about the universal packaging systems, because it seems like there cannot be a week when I don't run into an article which talks in a positive light about these so-called universal packaging systems. And well, in general, if you are interested in Snapcraft and you want to know how it works and what are the intricacies of making snap packages, this article from Eric Londo will be useful for you, but I just want to focus here on the things that I don't agree with on how this article presents. And this is kind of how a lot of other people who are talking in a positive light about the universal packaging system, it's not really specific to Snapcraft, all of the universal packaging systems. A lot of people talk about this, and I think there are a lot of misunderstanding and peddling the same half-truths that everyone else peddles who is giving like a positive review, or who think that is universal package managers are a good thing and they are very useful, and this is the way for the future of the Linux desktop. First of all, what I want to start with is that I don't like the title. Snapcraft is not software for all. The free software movement, or free and open source software, is the software for all. That's what is actually provides software for everyone and gives the opportunity for people to do stuff on their computer that they want to do. Snapcraft, I would rather call it software from anyone, meaning that basically you can get any kind of software, even like bad ones, without any control, or without like different kind of control than what you would have if you would install it from your repository on your distribution. And I have to refer back to my favorite article, Maintainers Matter, and I strongly recommend everybody to read this through, and I would recommend people who write articles about the universal packaging system just to read this through and please provide some counter arguments to these, because there is nothing new under the sun, I guess, when it comes to the universal package managers. Basically, all these things that are written in this article or this blog post here, there is no refutation of these. So Snapd and all the other like Flatpaks and app images, they are all just a way for the independent software vendors to be able to put their software on the computers of the users without kind of the eyes of the maintainers, the package maintainers from a distribution on it. And so this article is a very good kind of primer on why it is good actually to have a middleman between the software developer and the user, as in terms of like the software package maintainers. Anyway, so let's just get through it. Like the first paragraph is the same thing that I've already talked about in a previous video, in my reply to DT from DistroTube, is what I just have to say the same thing. The packaging is not a problem, and especially the package managers are not a problem in this world. You can have whatever kind of package manager. I already talked about what package managers do in another video. They all do the same thing. Pacman, APT, RPM, whatever, they all do the same things. They just have slightly different formats, but that's not the problem. And of course, the less popular distributions that are based on different package managers or use different package managers, that's also not their problem. I can agree that there is an issue with Linux distributions that are less popular and have less maintainers, but their problem is not the package manager, because even if they use the same package manager as like big distros, so even if, let's say, Solus used Pacman, it wouldn't be compatible with the Arch Linux packages. You couldn't install Arch Linux packages on Solus even if it had Pacman, because the underlying dependencies would have different versions, and the problem is the dependency versions are different between different distributions. And if your dependency version is different, then your web browser or whatever user-facing application that uses that dependency the binary program will not be able to run with the dependency that your distribution is providing if that binary was not compiled for that specific version. So yeah, not all software is available for every package manager. That's, again, software is not available for package manager. Software is available from a repository. So it doesn't matter what is the package manager if the software was not compiled properly or not compiled for your dependency versions anyways. So that's not package manager depending then thing that's the distribution's policy on their dependencies, what it depends on. But the thing is that once you go to any distribution that has a lot of maintainers, there will be a lot of software available in their repositories. If you go to any distribution that doesn't have many maintainers, then they won't have many programs in their repositories. And the thing is that you can kind of circumvent that. So on Ubuntu there is this PPA system, because Ubuntu provides a very static kind of underlying dependencies. They don't update them in a way that would break the packages that depend on the dependencies. So anyone can easily compile their own software for Ubuntu and just put it in their own package archive, and people can just add the package archive and they can retrieve the binary from that independent package archive, because just simply Ubuntu is unchanging. The Arch Linux use a different approach with the AUR. Basically the AUR, let's just go back to here. So if you go to the AUR homepage, and I was just checking out, I guess, this package here, how the AUR works is we have a package build file which contains some meta information about the package, like a name of the package or description of the package, the name, version, license, URL for like the website of the developers or something like that, has a source. The source is usually the source code of the application. There are binary packages in the AUR too, but let's just focus on the source code packages. And what this package build file, the pkg build file, will do is it contains the script, it contains the exact instructions that you have to run to build a binary from this source code and package it. So once this have been packaged, then you can install it with Pacman. So Pacman can install it. And so what the advantage of this system is that because Arch Linux on the contrary to Ubuntu, so it's like totally the opposite. Instead of having a very static base of the underlying dependencies, the Arch dependencies are always changing. So it's just better if the user compiles their own packages. So we just make the compile instructions available in the package build and the AUR, and people can do it for yourself. And of course, this is exactly what the maintainers are doing for the official packages. They just have the package build and they just automatically rebuild the binaries when the dependencies have been rebuilt. So this way they can always distribute the programs together that will work together. And of course, the other parts of this article I don't really want to talk that much about. Maybe this sentence is what we should focus on for a second. It can become incredibly confusing to new users coming from Windows or macOS, where there is a single simple way to install any piece of software compatible with the operating system. So, well, saying that installing any piece of software on Windows is simple is just because people are just used to it. So I guess if my father had to install something on his Windows computer, he is not used to doing that thing. So he will have a very, very difficult time finding the website and finding the proper source to get the exe file which contains the installer for the program he wants. It would not be that easy for him, I guess. And for me, it was easy because I got used to it and I had my tricks. But how much easier it is to just install stuff for Arch Linux, even from the command line, just using Pacman. It's super simple compared to what you have to do on Windows. And then there are, of course, all these GUI abstractions of the package manager, so some kind of GUI interface, which is nice for people who don't like the command line, I guess. I'm not against these things. What is the solution? So what is universal packaging system is the solution for what? For all the packaging shenanigans? No. Actually, I think the solution is just choose a distribution which maintains a lot of packages, which maintains all the stuff that you need. Use free software, and once you have free software, you can package it for your system. So I think it is possible to package stuff for Ubuntu and Debian. I'm not familiar with that. I'm familiar how to do it for Arch Linux, and if it's not in the repositories, not in the AUR, it's not that difficult to write the package build script and do that. And if you have difficulties with that, you can ask for help in the forums and people will help you. And I think I would say that it's probably similarly, or even if it's maybe a little more difficult, I'm not sure how it is done on Ubuntu, but Ubuntu is also, have a lot of developers, so if you need something packaged and I'm not sure how to do it, you can ask on a forum and probably people will help you figure out, and you will have that. The universal packaging system that can be installed on a Linux-based operating system and just works. What it does is actually, instead of you having a distribution that provides you with all the underlying dependencies and provides you some kind of a trust, that they have like a trusted source for your programs because they are independent from the developers of the software. So the maintainers have an incentive to only let packages in or only make packages for software that are properly written, I guess, that won't screw you over. So you have that extra level of trust for your packages from your distributions repositories. But what these universal package systems do is that they just ignore all the stuff you already have on your computer. They don't have access to your dependencies because they are not compiled against your dependencies. They are bringing their own dependencies with themselves together. So it's basically installing another distribution on top of your distribution that is maintained by someone else and lets people to put their stuff in this repository with a lot less scrutiny that the software usually gets in a distributions repository. And why am I saying that? Because the whole point of the universal packaging system is to kind of remove the middleman or the middle person from getting the software to the user. And by that, it just means that in the universal packaging system, the developers themselves can package the software, and well, there is this promise of having it sandboxed, but if I don't know exactly how these things work, but according to other people, this sandboxing is not 100% because the programs can still access your home directory and do whatever they want in your home directory. I'm not really, maybe you can control how it works on Snap or other things. I am not really sure. The thing is that if it was me, the only way I would run these kind of programs is on like a separate installation. So I would, well, actually I actually do have a dual boot Arch. I dual boot Arch with another installation of Arch, and so on my main installation I have all my important things, and on the other installation I can just install untrusted things, and I'm just not mounting the drives that contain my important things. So I guess that's my way of sandboxing. Yeah, that's the only way I would trust if these programs don't have access and cannot ruin my important stuff and cannot spy on me. Anyways, if you are the other parts of the article, it's just it's a description of the Snap packages, and it's a good description. I didn't read it through like properly. I just skimmed through this, but it's a good article if you are interested how things work. And I'm not saying that Snapcraft is not useful at all. I myself use a snap package on a server because it contained everything pre-set up for a web application, so I run Nextcloud from a snap package because I have to admit I was lazy and I didn't really want to learn how to set up Nextcloud, how to set up all the web servers and other things. I instead spent considerably more time learning how to do a reverse proxy setup with the snap package instead. But anyways, that's another video, and that video is already up on this channel, so you can go back and look at that. And well, if you enjoyed this rant and if you have anything to, you know, maybe argue about, then you can leave a comment down below. And if you want to hear me rant about universal packaging systems more and more, because I guess every time I read something about it I will rant about it, then just subscribe for the channel. Subscribe for the channel if you are just generally interested in Arch Linux related stuff. I am doing a lot of deep dives into Arch Linux, so we are not just installing here things like going through the installation guide. I was actually doing like a deep dive into each command, trying to explain what each command does during the installation process, and I will do the same in the future with other kind of Arch Linux and just generally Linux related things. And I also talk a lot about free software, and I am also part of the Open Suspect project, and I'm also going to talk about that development process. So there are many reasons for you to subscribe to this channel. And of course, always leave a comment down below if you have any questions or arguments. I like when people disagree with me and put like really thought through arguments against my positions. I really love that, so please do that. And well, just give me a thumbs up because that's always good feeling. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.